Everybody behave. We have a job shadow.
Lauren. Say hi, Lauren.
Hi.
We're not sure if Lauren is a corporate spy and wearing recording equipment, so everybody
As we're
say
recording.
only nice thing.
Right now.
We're never inappropriate.
What?
We're never inappropriate.
Never.
Okay.
Every day.
Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. Every day. We do it our own way. Sing it out every day. Yeah, let's make it a good day. Every day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
Now, here's Jason.
You guys are just here because you think you're going to get a free Labubu doll. That's right. Half the audience is like, what the hell is that? Anyway, welcome to the Jason Show. I'm Jace. First up, forget those ugly Labubu dolls. There's another hot trend among our friends, the Millennials and the Gen Z. Compression socks. Jason, what kind of talk show do you host? A show where people clap for compression socks. Compression socks are now officially cool. That's right. Audience, we've lived long enough to see this day. And yeah, and thank you, row one. And this isn't just for your grandpa on a plane ride to Branson. No, younger adults are wearing them to improve blood flow, reduce inflammation. Look, there's a young person now. And look like a hot orthopedic model. Oh. Yeah, look at that. Look, brands are jumping into this. They're doing colorful designer options. Look, we used to laugh at our parents for wearing these, and now we're buying them on purpose and ranking them on Instagram. Yeah. Yay, 2025. Where's the asteroid? And speaking of trendsetters who have been rocking functional fashion before it's cool, it's Fallon, everybody. What was that?
Little shoulder pop.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I said this during our Jason Show, before the show, which you can watch live on our YouTube channel. You look beautiful.
Oh.
You look beautiful today, yeah. I love the hair.
Thank you.
I matched you. I did a little brown motif for you.
Oh, wow,
I did my
nice.
dark brown suit to match you.
Thank you. I bought you that tie.
Yes, you bought me this tie. I know. I walked backstage and Fallon goes, wow, whoever gave you that tie is a really great person. Yeah. Yes, they are.
And then I won't say what you said after that.
I won't say I called Fallon a very special name. Yeah. There's nothing in here. Anyway, yeah, there's nothing in there. Anyway,
it's empty.
Hey, speaking of special people, Eric, grab your magic camera right there because, audience, we talk about her all the time. She fills in when Falcon's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our audience coordinator, Aaron Schwab's birthday. That's right. Aaron's very shy. She doesn't like attention at all. No. By the way, that woman right there, 27 years old right there. That's right. Yeah. Where's you hand people sashes. Where's your sash?
I don't want to waste them.
Oh. yeah. By the way, one more little plug, because I think I'm going to be there tonight. If you're watching us live from the Twin... Yeah, Aaron, I need tickets. Anyway, if you're watching us live...
There it is.
It's Aaron's birthday, but she's getting me tickets. Yeah. No, if you're watching us from our home city of the Twin Cities, that woman is performing live. She is our Bette Midler of the Twin Cities. Go see her tonight at Crooners, everybody. Tonight. Okay. Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Roll it, Leo. Let's do some hot topics. First up, feeling personally attacked, not us. Sarah Jessica Parker is speaking out about being criticized for years about the way she looks. SJP did really a great interview. I don't even want to get out of my car on the Call Her Daddy podcast and talked about the personal attacks that she received mainly during the heyday of Sex and the City. Watch this.
What were some of the comments that would be the hardest that got you?
I think just discussions of my physical person, like stuff that I couldn't change and wouldn't change. A magazine said something really, really mean about, you know, who I am, how I look. Why is this a problem? Why is this deserving of your time? And why do you seem to delight in saying it? I was sobbing because it felt so purposeful. And I think that's the only time I really cried about it.
Parker says, yeah. Parker says, SJP says, you really couldn't respond to critiques back then like you can now because there wasn't Twitter, there wasn't even MySpace, there wasn't Instagram. People would just they would just send you a letter, or they would go on in a magazine interview and call you all sorts of horrible names. Sarah Jessica also discussed accumulating all of the clothes from Sex and the City, and because, you know, she has that in her contract. And listen to this. And the reason her daughters don't care. Watch.
How often do your daughters ask to borrow clothes?
You know what? So many people rightfully ask that. They just don't.
They don't.
No, they're not.
Girls.
They like clothing, and I'll get a text a couple times a month asking, can they purchase something? But they mostly buy their clothes used.
Okay.
Almost entirely, which I think is pretty common now.
It is.
Yeah, her twin daughters, by the way, turned 16 this month. They'll get there. They'll get there. They'll start appreciating who their mom is fashion-wise in like their 20s or 30s. SJP says she personally never wears any of the clothes either, like the Carrie clothes, because they aren't her personal style, and also they're in an archive.
Yeah, she said that there's like only one belt that she calls Roger.
Roger.
That's in her closet, and she doesn't wear any, because she's like, is there one thing you actually wear? And she's like, no, I don't wear anything.
We've talked about this before. You and I have both been very open about this over the years, which I think people appreciate. It's not just women that get it. I get attacked for appearance. There was a man that sent me, we did a national test in season 2 of our show, and there was a man that sent me an email, I'll never forget this, before the show went national, and he said, you are fat and you should probably lose 15 pounds before you go across the country. And he put Love, whatever his name was. And I got to tell you, on that show, I thought of a couple things, and I had that guy in the back of my mind. When you receive criticism, how do you deal with it?
Well, when I was younger, I probably did what she did. I would cry. I think I've handled it differently through each decade of my life, I think. So in my 20s, I think I would cry, and I think I would even engage, and maybe I would, or if they said something mean, I'd be like, what did I do? And I would actually try to have an actual conversation, which people like that, you can't. And then when I got a little bit older, I just started blocking them, but it still would weigh on my mind. But I had to block and delete the comment, or I found myself going back to read it to re-hurt myself. And now that I'm older, I guess, I do not care. I don't care. Because I'm I don't know. People I told you this other day. I actually like enjoy if there's a creative comment because someone's like, "Why do you always wear why do you always wear quilts?" And it made me laugh so hard because I was like, I do wear a lot of big flowy patterned things, so it does look like I'm.
She said they said, "Why do you wear quilts?"
Why are you always wearing quilts? And I was like, honestly, and that one made me laugh for like 2 weeks. And so now I can find the humor in them, or I just if it's like really really mean, I'll block it. Still,
Yeah.
it doesn't weigh on my mind anymore.
I second that emotion.
Yeah.
Like the potato guy. There's a man that dresses potatoes up like me because he said back in the day I look like a fat potato. And then he would dress the potato up like a little doll, and he would send me pictures. Now I think it's hysterical. Like I feel good about myself. I don't have very good physical self-esteem. I feel really good about myself right now. So like you, it's like Wonder Woman. Pew pew. You can't really. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. So yeah, I keep making potatoes.
What an
Plus,
interesting.
for a guy who hates me, you're spending a lot of money on me. Yeah, anyway. Next, it's a real-life story you may have forgotten about involving a homemade flying saucer and a young boy. A new Netflix documentary looks back at the panic over Balloon Boy.
We heard all this chaos in their backyard. They said Falcon got in the balloon, and it took off.
The biggest nightmare ever.
Everyone starts covering this thing.
Incredible breaking news story.
It's worldwide.
It's blowing fast. It's cooking.
He said it's straight for air traffic. This could be really bad.
We all thought that once that balloon came down, this whole thing would be over. Ryan, what are you seeing on the ground there next to the balloon?
Well,
I think it's crazy how I was 6 years old and I was able to affect the whole state of the country.
What went through my head was Richard did this purposely.
And I'm like, you gotta be me.
This family is crazy. This dad should be arrested at the sheriff's office. You lie, you die.
Richard just played us all.
What the hell's wrong with you people? Richard and Naomi love those kids.
Why you don't get it? People like Richard are not regular people. If you think you know him, you probably don't.
Part of their train wreck series. As you saw, the documentary features an interview with the now 22-year-old at the center of the hoax. Netflix, July 15th. I forgot about this. I was a news anchor at the time, and and on the radio still. Now watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. It was everywhere.
I feel like I vaguely remember it.
Yeah.
I don't remember a ton of info, but that's wild. They thought the kid was in the balloon?
Yeah.
And just flying across?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the dad was like, yeah. Where was the kid actually at? Like in the basement?
In the attic.
Close enough? Okay. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Up the stairs, but oh my, we were live. I remember that we would go live from there. We'd spot it. I'm like, should we be showing this? Because if something horrible happens,
that's fair, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a car chase. It's like, do you really want to be? Anyway, again, July on Netflix. We have more Dish when we come back. Back in a moment, everybody. Yeah, I thought it was the Bubble Boy. I was missing, yeah. Welcome back, everybody. We barely made it. Fallon was running across the set. By the way, coming up, don't go anywhere, our buddy, and he just won the Academy Award in food, Chef Yia Vang's coming up in a little bit.
Do you think, is there a award like a medallion, or is it a trophy situation?
We'll have to ask him. I don't know.
I was gonna say I would have it featured if I was him. I would have it everywhere I like.
I would wear it to Target if I would. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. So we'll see.
From clowns to monsters under the bed, childhood fears are very common. But for actress Allison Williams, it was something else. What? Well, she explained on the Late Show. Watch this.
What irrational thing scared you growing up?
None of them were irrational. They were all rational, and everything.
Everything scares you?
Everything scared me. Well, the thing that scared me the most, and this is going to be warning, this is going to make me sound extremely cool. So,
warning, this is going to make you sound cool?
I just don't want to lose everybody, you know? Like, I just want to be on everyone's side. But what scared me the most were kids that didn't follow directions.
And so that makes you cool because you were a rule follower. All the coolest kids.
Like I was saying, I didn't want to lose the audience with how cool I am now.
Sure.
I have like a James Dean quality to me now that I didn't before.
You're a little bit of a rebel.
I was like inaccessible, and now, yeah.
Are you still a rule follower?
Yes.
She reminds me of someone I know. Executive producer Jeff. That's right, that guy right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Williams is... What?
They're rules for a reason, okay?
Oh, stop it.
I am a rule follower.
I know you are.
I like rules.
Rules, schmools. Anyway, she's back on the big screen next week in the sequel to Megan. Megan 2, whatever it's called. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, the dancing.
The dancing robot girl. Yeah,
I like
Next, we had that in the 80s. It was called Small Wonder. Yeah. Thank you, the 4 people that remember that show. Thank you, Thomas. Next in the dish, imagine working with someone for years, not realizing they look just like a famous movie star. That happened to The Daily Show's Jon Stewart after his co-worker, this is no joke, won a Pedro Pascal lookalike contest. He sat down with them this week. Watch this.
I showed up on Father's Day. You were supposed to like pre-signed up. I did not sign up. I rolled up and I'm like, yo, I'm here. And they're like, you're gonna win.
This is crazy. Like, you really...
Yeah.
Look, are you guys around the same age? Like,
I'm gonna be 43 next week.
Right.
So I think Pedro might be a little older than me, but yeah, it's
you're
pretty
a sexier, younger Pedro Pascal.
Thank you. That's awfully kind. Awfully kind.
What did your wife say about this? What did she say?
Her position is, I'm cool with you getting all this attention.
Yes.
If I can meet Pedro Pascal. So.
Oh my gosh, though, Fallon. Look at him.
Crazy.
Look at him.
If I didn't hear his voice, I would assume John was just interviewing Pedro.
I did too.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, it is uncanny. I mean, he has a little like poofier hair, but other than that, yeah, John says in all the years of working with George, he never realized that George looked like Pedro.
I think he maybe normally doesn't wear the glasses.
Maybe that.
And I think it's like Superman. He puts the glasses on and he becomes Pedro, yeah.
I barely recognized you with your hair pulled back like that.
True. It freaks people out. It really does.
I was like, who are you?
Yeah, who is she?
Brad Pitt is ready to rev your engine in his new movie F1 hitting theaters next week. Brad is one of the topics in the latest episode of the Hollywood Raw podcast. Audience, give it up for Dax Holt.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, last week we were in your bedroom. Are you at the Continental Breakfast Stand at a Days Inn? Where are you?
Now I'm downstairs in the kitchen because again we still have people here, so I'm rotating around the house trying to figure out where people aren't sleeping
out, Dax.
right now.
How long have you had house guests?
Well, we had my daughter's bat mitzvah this past weekend, so we have like friends and they're from Germany, so they're here for like a month.
Blink twice if you want me to have them removed. Just like, yeah. Okay, let's get to it. Let's talk about, you guys talked about Brad Pitt, obviously, because F1's coming out. What did you guys gab about?
Well, we were talking about the fact that he was reportedly paid $30 million up front for this movie, which is absolutely unbelievable. And then, you know, you've got all the back end deals. And Adam was just asking, is Brad Pitt worth $30 million up front, considering it is very hard to recoup money these days in the movie theater? Like people don't go to the movie theaters. And so, hey, are they going to get their money back? And I said, absolutely. For him, I think he's worth it. He is one of the most recognizable people on the planet. He drives movie sales, whether or not people are going to the movie theaters. I think he's worth it. Would you agree with me on that?
I would. I mean, look, you know, the movie business is no different. I mean, you look at restaurants, you know, labor in any industry, labor is the most expensive thing, and the movies are no different. However, if you can push revenue on the other end, and Brad does, because I got to tell you, I don't like race cars, but I'm going to go see that movie because I want to see Brad, and I want to see Brad part because for a guy, how old is he? 60? What is he? 61?
So yeah, something like that. Yeah.
What is he doing? Is it lotion? Is he in a? Is it a hyper?
I don't know.
A hyperbaric chamber? What is it?
I think that there's a lot of men in Hollywood that have undergone some kind of procedures. I'm not saying like necessarily plastic surgery, but I think that when you have the money, you can afford some of these procedures that other people can't, whether it's the vampire facials or whether it's re-injecting platelets into your skin. I think that people in Hollywood can do this. It's just not as talked about when it comes to men doing it. I think there's a lot of Botox going on that no one talks about. But what I found really interesting during this conversation with Adam is I was really surprised what Brad Pitt's most successful movie of all time was. Do you have any guesses?
I would say one of the Ocean's movies?
Fight Club?
No.
Fight Club?
Nope. Not Benjamin Button.
River Runs Through It.
No, not River Runs Through It.
Thelma and Louise.
World War Z, the zombie movie. That was his most successful movie to date, which blew my mind because he's been in so many big movies. Yeah. He's had so many like legendary characters, and that is the one. And that's probably the one I haven't seen.
I haven't seen it either. Thank you, buddy. Have fun with your house guests.
Thank you. Pray for me.
Subscribe to the Hollywood Raw podcast wherever you get your podcast. Up next, this is so fascinating. You're going to love this. The man who basically invented television as we know it. That's the title. That's the title of the new book on Desi Arnaz out this week. CBS talked to the author about Desi Arnaz's impact. Watch this.
What is the most significant thing about Desi Arnaz that people don't know?
He and his colleagues made the decision to film I Love Lucy on 35mm black and white film, making possible its preservation and essentially the invention of the rerun, and then syndication sales and the whole modern way that television economics work.
Truly. This finally kind of gives Mr. Arnaz his due. The book also talks about how Desi and Lucie created their TV empire, moving the base of all television production to Los Angeles. And let me just add a side note. What makes this even more remarkable, and it's hard to think about a world where Lucille Ball isn't an icon and Desi Arnaz isn't an icon. When Lucie and Desi went into CBS to do the deal for I Love Lucy, they were barely anything. Lucy was in movies, but she wasn't like a main star like a Marilyn Monroe or a Jane Russell. She was kind of a B player. And the fact that CBS let them do all of this, they said yes to the filming. They said yes to the 3 cameras. Desi, when you go see a sitcom, like I have 3 cameras right here. You know why I have 3 cameras set up? Desi Arnaz set up this whole system. CBS also talked to Lucie Arnaz, who revealed the final really moving conversation between her parents. You know, they were divorced for many years before Desi died. Listen to this.
He was very, very sick, and I said, I'm going to put him on the phone now, so say what you want to say. And I just held the phone to his ear, and all I could hear her saying was, I love you, like 5 times in a row. And he listened, and he said, I love you too, honey. And then he said, good luck with your shows.
2 days later, Desi Arnaz died at 69.
Yeah, Lucie was doing a comeback. Lucie was making a comeback that year. She had a new show on ABC. If you want something, if you're already sad or you just want to see something really emotional or you really love Lucie, go to YouTube and Google Lucie Kennedy Center Honors. And Robert Stack did a presentation and he read, I could cry to sing about it. He read a letter from Desi that Desi gave Robert to read because Desi knew he wouldn't be there and it's so lovely, and it cuts to Lucie, who showed very little emotion during that ceremony, or if ever, and Lucie, it was the only time she got teared up. He basically talked about how the success of I Love Lucy was really about Lucy and only Lucy, and it was quite beautiful. That's The Dish. When we come back, the great Chef Yia Vang. Stay with us, everybody.
Can you name a gay person?
Of course, the singer Pink.
No, she just has a pixie cut.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
No, they're straight.
Coming up on The Jason Show, comedian Caroline Baniewicz will join us live. But first, he just won the Oscar of the food world. One of our favorites on any day, Chef Yia Vang will be here to talk about the new season of his show, getting that honor. That and more when we continue. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Jason Show TV, Fallon on Air, Jason Matheson. Well, we are, this is putting it mildly, we are incredibly proud of our first guest. He's not a guest, he's friends, he's family here. His cooking show, Relish, just took home a prestigious James Beard Award, the Oscars of the food world. Season 6 of Relish, here it is right here, premieres in just a few days, featuring everything from bundt cakes to burritos. Audience, give it up for the James Beard Award-winning Chef Yia Vang. I have to legally say that now. Just like when you win an Oscar, I now have to legally, when I introduce you, I have to say James Beard Award-winning Yia Vang.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Has a nice ring to it.
I guess, but yeah, it was really, really fun. It's such an honor, you know, to get that. And it's a whole team effort. Yeah. You know, I think that sometimes like I get to be like the face of it, but man, our editor Jack Davis, he's such a game changer, you know, and it's incredible.
People, that's why I always celebrate Rob King, our editor, our Eric, photographer Eric. When we do these packages, we call them packages when they're edited. People don't, why would they? They don't know the biz. They don't realize the magic happens in those editing rooms.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that like when we're cooking or we're doing these scenes, there, you know, the producers, you know, Jack, who's our DP, also, he'll ask me to do things. I'm like, man, this feels really weird. Yeah. And he's like, no, it'll look good. Trust me. You know, you're like, okay, I'm in a weird position here, and then they'll send me, you know, they'll show me some of the, you know, the shot. And I'm like, oh, that does look cool. Yeah. You know.
But take me to that moment, and you're a humble guy, but we're not going to experience it. You're at the fancy. It was in Chicago, right?
Yeah, it's in Chicago. Yeah.
Here you are, right here. Yeah. You're sitting there at the table, and they call your name. They call Relish. What goes through your mind?
Okay, so you got to realize that.
Nice suit, by the way. Yeah. Nice suit, buddy. Look at that. Yeah.
Club Caraway, you know, they made a custom suit for me.
Look at that.
So yeah, it was okay. So this is how it is. There was 3 of us, and one of them is Top Chef.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like, okay.
Yeah, audience, think of it. Yia beat out Top Chef. Like, yeah.
Well, and so like we're sitting there, which is like kind of cool because like, you have this awe moment because you're sitting there, and then Matty Matheson, like his seat's like right by us too, so he sits and I'm like, just be cool, man, be cool, you know, like, yeah, you know, it's Matty Matheson. Yeah. And so we're sitting there, and they're calling out the, you know, and you've been to some of these award shows, you're really nervous, and I don't know, inside we're like, there's Top Chef on there, that's like, you know, Bravo, whatever, you know, like, and
the machine behind it,
and they're great at what they do. And when they called out our name, one of our producers and director, Brittany, turns to me, and we all like looked at, all 3 of us, me, Amy, Brittany, we're all like, and Brittany looks at me and she says a grown-up word, you know, like kind of an expression of a grown-up word, and I'm like, oh, and then we like looked at each other like, maybe we should get up and walk.
Oh, you didn't even get up at that point.
No, we were still staring at each other. We're like, what? And she's like, what the heck, you know, and you know, blank, and then we got up, and then we started walking up there, and I didn't prepare a speech.
You didn't?
No. So I was like, oh.
Because, you know, people say that and they're like, but hold on just a second. And they pull out like a receipt.
There was no speech.
No speech.
No speech at all. I know Amy had a list of like, you know, who to thank with like all the producers and, you know, all the crew and everything. But we didn't have really a speech ready. And then they're like, Amy's going to say something. If by some weird chance, this is our text the morning of, if by some crazy chance we win, guys, what are we saying? That was the text that morning.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, this is kind of, Amy has a few things, and then we're going to turn it to you. So I'm like, whatever.
Well, I know this, and I always ask a version of this to you, because what does it mean for you? It would be one thing if the show was didn't have such a great connection to your culture. What does it mean to you personally that your show, a show that celebrates other cultures, took home this prize?
So, you know, this is what I tell people. Like, this show started out 6 years ago with that idea. Amy and Brittany came to me. I still remember where I sat in Dogwood Coffee in Northeast when they had this idea where it's like, it's going to be you, your mom, and we're going to make some steamed buns. So it's like, okay, 5-minute segment on as a webisode.
Yeah.
And then they kept talking about, oh, you're going to be the host. And I'm like, yeah, of course, we'll host you at the house. It's like that. And they kept saying, no, like, you're going to host the show. I'm like, what do you mean show? Like, it's just me and my mom. She goes, oh no, we have 5 more little segments. It started there to where we are now, where it's a half-hour show. It's streaming on the PBS app. It's on YouTube. And then what the most amazing thing is, and what I've learned is this: I'm just curious about all these incredible things that are here in the Twin Cities, because I think that our problem here sometimes, and this is what I say, is that we feel like we're this small little city, and we're like, we have to go see the world. We have to go see the world. And what I'm telling people is the world has come to us.
It's here. Yeah.
And so
that's why you guys should visit.
Yeah, you get to see that in every episode that we do.
Absolutely. When we come, Yi is here. We got to cook, for heaven's sake. When we come back, that's right. When he come back, he's making an amazing breakfast Sammy when we come back. Back in a moment. Let's go over here, my friends.
Let's make it.
Moved into the kitchen, my friends. Don't forget to watch Relish. Search for it. In Chicago now on WTTW. Tell really quick before we cook, new season coming up. Catch me up. What can we expect on this one?
So one of the features we have is with Mark Hugh. He's been here before, so that's why we're doing this dish, kind of in honor of them. But we're going everywhere, from sabusas all the way to Nordic ware. We will go. I learned about how they make bundt cake pans. I learned the history of bundt cake. We go in. We talk about Hawaiian food. We go everywhere. We hang out with the Travail boys, Mike Brown teaches me about his bean burritos he learned from his mom. We had a bunch of bean burritos and other stuff come out of our body after we were done. It was incredible. The Cecil's. We went to Cecil's. Oh my gosh, it was delicious.
And going back though, I gotta watch the Hawaiian food, Hawaiian culture. Is some of my favorite. I just love it. Okay.
So, my girlfriend Amanda loves Mark Hugh, right? And when we go there, she always says, hey, we got to get the croissant. But then she overbuys the croissant. So we'll come home, we'll have 10 croissants. And so sometimes the croissant, the next day, I'm a little bougie because I eat croissant right away. But the Mark Hugh croissants, what makes Mark Hugh Paris, their croissant is so incredible because they use this butter that's imported from Paris.
Yeah.
It's so delicious.
Yeah, girl, this ain't some Oklahoma cow. Yeah, this is,
Yeah, that's that French cow, where they milk it and they massage it and they feed it wine.
They have a little, the cow has a little mustache.
Yeah, they're like, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Milky. Anyways, I don't know if I can say that. But anyways, so their croissant is incredible. What I love is turning it into a breakfast sandwich. So it's super simple. We just have some scrambled egg here. Throw your scrambled egg right in there.
What I love about this is when I think of, and first of all, breakfast sandwiches are real hot right now. But when I think of you, this is what I love. I was so excited when they told me you're doing this. You making a breakfast sandwich, it's a mix of two of my favorite things.
Oh, this is, and I tell people, if you want eggs for a breakfast sandwich, literally 30 to 60 seconds. That's it. A hot pan, non-stick, 30 to 60 seconds.
People overcook eggs, don't they?
I know, and then it gets all rubbery, and they're like, Anyways, so we have the croissant here, cut inside, hard on the outside, that crunch and soft on the inside, like some people
That's
so we just throw it right on top here.
Oh!
And then what we do is we just have a little cabbage slaw because you have to have vegetables. We threw some mushrooms, some hmong sausage in there, and then then we just top that off.
Oh my
that
God.
Is the
Look at that, audience. Look at that.
And And when we go to Mark Hill, we get all the pastries, all the desserts. I remember they were here, a while back.
Yes.
We always grab a few croissants and just you could turn them into sandwiches the next day.
Let me ask you. I obviously I've been to your restaurants. I know I'll call it dinner food. In the Hmong culture, what is a breakfast staple?
Yeah.
Like for us, I'm a Southern boy. I made biscuits.
Yep.
We eat biscuits and gravy. For you, what was that?
Well, we as Hmong kids growing up, we didn't really have like, oh, this is breakfast. It was just food. So like some mornings it would be eggs, rice, Hmong sausage, some mornings. And eggs wasn't a morning thing. Egg was just an everyday thing because it was such this protein filler, because like we grew up with not a lot of meat. So you ate eggs all the time. So it wasn't until I grew up in America here when people were like, oh, you only eat eggs in the morning. And the kids at school would be like, what do you guys eat for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know, it's just what mom does, And so we didn't really have, but sometimes, we will, I remember big church events in the morning, we'll have like congee, we'll even have pho in the morning, so very soupy. Yeah, it's a big rich broth. Yeah.
And remind me with the Hmong sausage, it's what makes it officially the Hmong sausage?
Yeah. So it's our what we have on the inside, that counts. Just like in life,
That's right. It's not about our beauty.
Yes,
that's right.
Well, for some,
for some,
some of that, Hollywood stuff, that Brad Pitt stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we literally it is lemongrass, ginger, garlic, shallots, fish sauce, Thai chilies, and then what we actually do is from middle of Texas there we get wild boar that comes in. So we're using wild boar these days, So yeah.
Oh. Well, guys, seriously, visit us restaurants, watch a show, hug him if you see him at Target. He's the best. Chef Yia Vang, everybody, watch the new season of Relish. All episodes will be available to stream on the PBS app starting Monday, June 23rd. So make sure you get that PBS app. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Thanks, Brad.
I appreciate it so much. This looks so good. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back. Our next guest is known as I love this, content maniac. She's a comedian who is always going viral for her parodies and sketches online, including one about overthinking on a date. Look.
I'm just gonna go wash my hands.
Should I have washed my hands? If I wash them now, it'll just look like I'm copying him. When was the last time I washed my hands? I guess it rained on Tuesday. They probably got wet. Did everyone else see that I didn't go wash my hands? I'm conserving water and it's good for my immune system. I'm a good person. Oh my God, what's underneath my nails? Ugh, it's just a chocolate protein bar from earlier.
She gets millions of viewers on her TikToks and is touring the country right now with her show. Wow, Jace, be able to talk by 11. Homeschooled freak audience, give it up for Caroline, everybody.
I watched them.
Did you watch? I did too.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you.
Oh. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Can I compliment you?
Oh, please.
I'm not hitting on you because I'm as gay as a picnic basket.
Oh,
but
I love
you look,
it. Oh, we're safe. Okay. Yeah.
You are beautiful.
Oh, thank you so
much. We looked at your publicity photos and Jeff goes, is she a model or a comedian?
That's so nice of you. I know. I saw those. I was like, oh, I could have sent you one in a swimsuit or no. No. Thank you. That's really nice. That's really nice. You are also beautiful.
Thank you. Let me start with this. How often, because I applaud you being a content maniac. Do you mind being called that?
Yeah, that's a funny thing to be said, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, sure. I feel like there's people who do a lot more videos than me, though. I will be honest, but it does you are constantly making things.
What is it like? This is a broad question, but it fascinates me. What is it like being a comedian in 2025, where you do have to consistently pump out content?
It's so crazy. I think being a comedy has completely changed, and in the grand scheme of things, I haven't even been doing it as long as other people. But you used to just have to be a really good stand-up comedian. You just got to write and work on your stand-up, and then probably get a Comedy Central set or get hired by SNL. And now it's you have to do that, but you also have to make stuff, and then also you have to know how to edit it. And then also you probably have a podcast and you have to know how to edit that.
Yeah.
And you kind of also can't get canceled. You have to be a good person. So it's kind of a lot. It's kind of and be a good person. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, let me ask you. There's the cousin. There's the cousin of that question. Is it hard? Okay. Is it harder to do you hear from comics all the time. Seinfeld talks about it. Is it harder to do comedy because you are kind of walking a line now? We're living in an era where people are very easily triggered, offended, and bothered. Is it hard? Harder?
I don't think it's terribly hard, because I think if people know you're doing comedy, there's actually a little bit more room than you think, because people know it's a joke.
Yeah.
And you're playing a character. It's like fake. Like, you know, there are people in my comments who are like, ew, gross. She doesn't wash her hands. That's so. And yeah, it is gross. It's gross. Like, yeah, you're correct. But I think it's okay. I don't think it's as hard as people say.
Do you get a lot of? I would imagine your upbringing, your family, is a fertile ground for comedy. Am I right on that?
Yes. So my show that I'm doing it tonight, and then on Saturday I'll be in Milwaukee, and on Sunday I'll be in Detroit. So I was homeschooled my whole childhood until so from pre-K to I graduated homeschooled high school. Yeah. And so it's just kind of like a fictional, silly. It's also a musical, which it sounds like I'm making this up.
It's a homeschool
musical? Yeah, it's a musical.
That is the best thing ever.
So it's a musical. It's like a comedy musical, one-woman musical about being homeschooled. And yeah, it's just like it's so funny because it's like just like a regular childhood, but like with a twist. Yeah. And my my mom was my teacher, and my sibling, and my yearbook was my family photos. Yeah, like, you know what I mean, and things like that.
Did you play homeschool sports?
Yeah, I actually was on.
Did you let her?
Yeah, no. I was actually, no, you're so funny. I actually was on a Christian homeschool basketball team. Guys, you are looking at the Homeschool Athletic Association Jesus Character Award winner. I'll stand up. Yeah, I got the Christian Character Award.
That's fantastic. I'm really not mocking. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. Which probably means that I was like not aggressive enough on the court. Thinking back on it, like you really were generous to the other team.
You were very kind on the court. Yeah.
But there weren't that many other homeschool teams, as you can imagine. I did grow up in Texas. There was a lot more, but we played like Jewish synagogues.
Because I honestly, I say this legit, and I think a lot of the audience, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah. It's bigger in Texas than like Florida, I think.
That there are homeschool leagues.
Yeah, there are, and honestly, some of them have gone on to play in the NBA and WNBA, which
that is
I know
fantastic.
sounds crazy.
No, I think it's. I would have been like, because me, I'm not real athletic. I know that shocks you, but I would have been like homeschool bowling. You know what I mean? I would have been on the bowling league.
We had football. Now we had baseball. We had and you want to know? We had cheerleaders. We had homeschool cheerleaders. Yeah. You guys got to Google it. No,
fascinating.
And then we had homeschool Christian basketball, state and nationals. I know. There were like 5 teams. There were 5 teams.
What was your title again? You won the
Christian Character Award.
Christian Character Award.
Yeah.
I love it. Please come back whenever you're here.
I would love to.
Give it up, everybody. You can see her live.
Not yet. Oh, not yet. I'm back.
You're the first guest in season 10 to just get up and leave.
I was like, well, I kind of felt like you guys were like, okay, go. You know.
You can see her live at Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis tonight if you're watching us locally. Plus, if you're watching us from around the country, she's stopping everywhere. Milwaukee, Detroit, for all the details, follow her on social. We'll be right back, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Happy birthday to everybody celebrating with us in our birthday club. They get the sash, VIP treatment, and more to celebrate with us. Go to eventbrite.com or the Eventbrite app. And thanks to our partners at Home Furniture. If you can't make it on your birthday, don't worry. We'll give you a few days before and after. Stay right there. We're going to wrap things up when we come back. We should tell you a little tease ahead. Today, it's going to be a little fun history. For the first time ever, we're going to have a James Beard Award-winning person in the back seat. We're taping a fast food field trip with Yia after the show today. Yeah.
I love that.
It's the first time we've had a now, Hanson's been with us, but a fancy chef. And
say it to Stephanie's face.
I know, no, but Stephanie ain't fancy, and she's not a chef, as she'll say. But so it'll be the first time we have a James Beard Award winner in Jeff's automobile. That's right. Hope he vacuumed. That's right.
I have this feeling that the fancy chefs just love fast food. Yes. Like, they're probably not a snob to fast food at all. They probably, because they're so sick of cooking, they're tired, they probably actually consume a lot of fast food.
They probably do.
Yeah.
So you'll see that, what, Jeff, probably next week or the week after? Probably a week after.
Whatever.
Tomorrow, though, jalapenos and wine. Leslie Miller is back with a hot trend on social right now, plus her picks for the best summer wines. What should you have at your picnic? We'll tell you. But right now, that's going to do it for us. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.